The Wednesday, July 16, 2025 Paramedic Services Committee. First order on the business is attendance, and we do have quorum. Did we get any regrets for today? Okay, we don't have any regrets, but a couple of our city counterparts are not present, so they may join us. I understand that the city does take July off, so I know it might be a little bit difficult for them to come during the July meeting. Item 2 is the approval of the agenda. I'm going to ask if anybody has anything they would like to add to the agenda. Okay, seeing none, can I get a mover to get that on the floor then? Moved by Councillor Pierce, second by Councillor Hunt. All in favor? Okay, we have ourselves an agenda. Declaration of pecuniary interest, I'll ask if you do have one, declare it at the appropriate time. No delegations today. So we'll go to item number 5. That's the adoption of the minutes from the previous meeting of May 21st. Can I get a mover for that? Mayor Bailey, seconded by Councillor Pierce. Does anybody see any errors or omissions? Okay. All in favor of approving previous minutes? None opposed? Business arising from the minutes. Does anybody have anything? The only thing I have is we talked about the tours, and true to word, Cindy, you've arranged that for next week, and I just wanted to ask, are there any special instructions? Did we bring hard hats, steel-toed shoes, anything of that nature?
Through the chair to committee. So we expect that we'll receive occupancy for the build by the end of this week, which means that there will be no PPE required for the tour. We had a meeting yesterday just planning for the tours, and we'll send something out probably by the end of this week around where to park. So we're going to instruct everyone to park near the main entrance of Grand Bridge, go through the main entrance doors. We'll probably have a banner up there with the paramedics crest, and then everybody can meet in the lobby and go from there.
Okay, so park at Grand Bridge and go, okay, and look for the banner. Perfect. Okay, no, oh, Councillor Hunt, you have your hand up, go ahead.
Yeah, question about the tour. So just first of all, I'm not sure, is there an van accessible parking spot that I'm going to be able to deploy my ramp? And secondly, I got 2 invitations, but I'm assuming it's the same tour with 2 different time slots.
Yep. Through the chair to committee, there is accessible parking, Councillor Hunt, right near the main entrance doors. And we did set up 2 dates to try to accommodate council's schedules, with the city being off in July and the county in August. So you're welcome to attend either one. Okay. Or both, right, if you want to.
No, I won't attend both. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't like a 2-part event or anything like that. So I'll decline one and we'll be at the other. Thank you.
No, it's a good question, Councillor Hunt. Okay, any other business from those minutes? Okay, see none, we'll go on to our staff reports, noting that there are 3, but we'll go through them one at a time. So the first one is from Heather Mifflin, and it's regarding the paramedic services budget to actual variance. Can I get a mover to get that on the floor? See, there's only 3 of us, but we'll go with Mayor Bailey and second by Councillor Pierce. Any questions on that very cautious budget to actual variance report? Go ahead, Councillor Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. So I'm just reading in here that part of the, where is it here? On page 2 of the report, when it talks of the 12-hour ambulance approved for July 1st has been deferred to September to assist with potential budget pressures. Do we have any idea as to what that would save by delaying that a few months? That's my one question. And my other question is there no other way to recoup any savings, in the sense that I thought we were in a situation where we wanted to get that on the road ASAP? And
we'll go to Cindy, or Chief, do you want to Who can?
Sorry. I just thought they were going to talk financially. So the overall savings is, we delayed it until September, A, for savings, and two, right now, with the improvements that we've made with the offloads, going into the fall right now, we were able to delay it until September 1st. We're also having a staffing issue during the summer months. We've already done a hire in January. We did another hire in April/May. And to, rather than disrupting, say, the apple cart of everybody's vacation time, we elected to go September 1st. We're okay right now with the overall forecast for our offloads and stuff. So that little bit of improvement that we've made through the hospital has allowed us to delay it till September 1st.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Part of it, yeah. I'm just curious, do we have any idea as to dollar figures as to what this might save us?
I just did a rough calculation. If it's like, for an example, say the cost for half a year is $500,000, it basically would save us about $160,000 technically a month, but that's just a rough calculation. Heather would have more of a detailed financial number. She's pulling it up right now. Because in 6 months, it's about a $500,000 ask. And I just basically did 6 months divided by 6, it was $166,000 a month, right? But that's only a ballpark, not taking into consideration benefits and a few other things.
Is there anything you could share, Heather?
Through the chair, I'm sorry, I was just pulling up the actual decision package costing that was included. And for the 6 months was 290,000, so I'm not jiving with quite with what Russ is saying, so that I would say about half of this would be the savings, but.
Correct. I was looking at a full 24-hour vehicle, not just a 12, so my figures were based on a 24-hour vehicle. So Heather's figures are correct.
Okay, so just a follow-up if I could, Mr. Chair. So let's just say the, ballpark, 145 or whatever, that should offset the potential additional charges for fuel and that sort of thing, right? So It should help. Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair, it should help us to balance out by the end of the year, correct?
Thank you.
Any other questions on that report? That would be the paramedic services budget variance to actual. Seeing no other hands raised, I'll call the question. All in favor? Okay, that's moved. None opposed. I'll take us to item 7.2. That's the paramedic services statistical package that Russ prepares for us very diligently every meeting. So can I get a mover to get that on the floor, please? Yeah, moved by Councillor Martin, second by Councillor Hunt. Any questions for Russ at this time? Or comments? Councillor Pierce.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Chair. I'm just trying to find the page here. It's on page 3 of the report when it talks about the 75 years and older. I'm curious, those percentages that are there, are they the percentage of the population that is over 75, or is it the percentage of the likelihood of somebody over 75 calling an ambulance?
The likelihood.
Okay, so the likelihood of somebody over 75 calling an ambulance are those percentages. Do we understand what the factors are that would suggest those percentages?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to define them, no. However, with the 75-year-olds or greater, with the assistance of the CP program, we're trying to basically put those percentages down, right? They're getting to them first, providing them the care, the additional resources ahead of time
Right.
to limit and decrease those percentages of them likely calling an ambulance, right? Without the CP, those figures were originally gathered prior to the input of CP.
Okay, all right. No, I appreciate that, Russ. If I could, Mr. Chair, I've just got a couple more for Russ today. It's his lucky day.
Yeah, go ahead.
Page 6 of his report, when it says, that we're waiting on confirmation from the Ministry of Health for the additional one-time funding to secure it to March 31st, 2026. Do we have any indication of, like, not literally, or like, are we looking to get this tomorrow, 2 months, 3 months, or do we have no idea when this might come?
Through you, Mr. Chair, they're always delayed. This morning, we just received the funding letters for part of the CP program. So I believe they're starting to roll out right now, but we do not have an anticipated date. Nobody's received a notice for their offload or dedicated offload nurse funding as of yet. But from all inclinations, it's business as usual.
Okay, I appreciate that. One other one, if I could, Mr. Chair, on page 7, when it talks about the service resources to be utilized, 2025, it shows 9 vehicles deployed. Does that include the one that we were supposed to have, that half for July 1st, or is that number should that number be taken off? So technically, we're only 8.5 until September.
Through you, Mr. Chair, those numbers are an average for 2025, right? We've forecasted for the remainder of the year. That's inclusive of starting the vehicle as of September 1st, so 9 in total.
Okay, thank you for that.
So it has, through you, that additional vehicle is going to really make a big difference. If you notice, it's down to 90%.
Right.
But with all the other work in the background that the hospital has done to free up our vehicles, like we were talking to the hospital in our weekly meetings, we were at like 157 minutes, I think was the high per vehicle, just waiting there. I think yesterday, our average is 43. Their bump up in July was like 49 or 51. Still, we've shaved an hour off that offload time to get our vehicles back on the road.
Right, okay, and thank you for that. On the next page, when it talks about sudden cardiac arrest, again, we're sitting 43%. Our benchmark is 60%. I know we increased that benchmark, but I'm just looking, is there anything that we can do to help increase that number, or is it just, I'm trying to understand, I know we're working at it, and this is no diss to anybody, but what do we need to do in order to get that 43% to our benchmark of 60?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Kevin Robinson, our deputy chief, have been working on a report, right? We have a plan for a different deployment model as of January this year, using more of a PRU to get to the calls quicker. That's a non-transporting vehicle, allowing them to go to the higher acuity calls. Also, another suggestion that we may have moving forward is working with our communications department and putting a public awareness out there on cardiac arrest, that a lot of the county facilities, city facilities, and even when you're visiting like the Toronto Airport or CN Tower and stuff like this, right? Just be aware of the surroundings, where your AED is when you walk into a grocery store, right? Even bystander help would make a big difference. We've worked with the communications department at your request of doing the 911 for alternate destinations, which is rolling out. We could do the same for cardiac arrest into the fall.
Okay.
That would help us, like, that measurement is stopping the clock. So if we had a cardiac arrest in this building right now, once one is applied, that stops that clock of the
Right.
6 minutes or less. So the more public side of things, along with the fire department data and our data, will get our benchmarks up a lot higher. But we need multiple components, like the PR side of things, the report that Deputy Chief Robinson is working on. We can see an increase on that as well.
Okay, I look forward to that. If you'd indulge me, Mr. Chair. So when it talks about for the code zeros, I know the figures weren't available from April 20th to May 7th due to technology. Is there any other way to get that data, or no?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we used to do it manually, and that was taking about 4 to 5 hours for our admin person to count up all the code zeros. Right now, the data is given to us. In that data that you're missing, you are missing a total of about 14 days. So what we did was the 2 stars is we averaged it out, and we are still below, right?
Okay.
They've corrected the problem moving forward. The data will be accurate. So we averaged it, but it was about 14 days that we were missing overall, that even if you added 14 more days into this, we are still below our previous last year's. Like, if you look at 2024 in May, we had 165, 76. So all the improvements that are happening, yeah, there's no other way to get the data, but we're also making significant improvements.
Okay, fantastic. One last one, Mr. Chair. On the next page, when it talks about the lost vehicle hours, I'm trying to understand again, with the main number there for the total lost hours. It seems like extremely high, like double, and yet the other numbers of the code zeros and the longest episode and the average transport, they kind of seem in line with the previous numbers. So I'm just curious about that 287 number.
Through you, Mr. Chair, that we noticed there was a data error. Somebody, instead of putting in 1976, they had put in 1906. We're trying to get that little glitch taken care of.
Okay,
It was
all
an
right.
input, and we can't change it, the ministry does. So in line, I would say a conservative number was like 187.
Okay.
But if we look at what we did in January 2024, we were 1,350.
Right, yeah, as I say, I can see the numbers for the last few months, and it just kind of flew off the page, so I just wanted to ask about that. And the new MPDS system, do we think that is going to, like, there's a thing in here you have about 911 and all that kind of stuff. Do we feel that we really understand the value of what this is going to bring? Because within your report and from what I've read, this is going to be huge. Like, can you just kind of elaborate on your thoughts on this, how much and how broad you think the benefit of this system is going to be? Because we've spoken about it a ton in regards to, the prioritizing the ambulances going to certain areas. And this is exactly what this is going to do. So can you just kind of talk a little bit about that?
First of all, in other jurisdictions, it has made significant improvements to their overall response times.
Right.
Niagara and Ottawa were the first ones to adopt it. There was supposed to be a trial period for 10 years. Well, the trial period is still going on. But Peel Region was one of the first ones to adopt it, and other areas around us. It is going to make a huge priority. Like, we used to say, every time somebody's having chest pain, it was like a code 4. But now they can able to qualify it, right? Is it like actual cardiac related? Is it muscle related? They can basically downgrade calls to get to the higher priorities first.
Right.
It is a huge game changer. Our team in-house have been working on the prioritization of the launch for over a year. What we plan on this fall is to educate the public. The other services, like in Kawartha Lakes, in that area, they've done public campaigns, videos on how this is going to change, and we plan on doing that for early fall before our launch in November. But it will be a huge game changer of prioritizing getting to the critical calls first, and the lower acuity calls will be the ones that are sitting there a lot longer. And we're going to be working with the fire department. They're working with them also to reprioritize their acuity for their calls at the same time.
Well, that's great news, because like I say, we've talked about that for a while. And thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm good now.
Thank you, Councillor Hawkeye Pierce.
Thanks for the question.
Picking out those numbers. We'll go to Councillor Martin next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I apologize for being late to the meeting. Russ, you're talking about some kind of a public campaign about defibrillators. Would it be a good idea for any facility that has a public defibrillator to have a placard on their door indicating where it is, so that everybody coming into the facility can see that, and hopefully it'll sink in their subconscious, and they'll know where to send someone to get a defibrillator if one's needed?
Through you, Mr. Chair, a majority of the buildings do have, and some of them are like faded, they've had window stickers on their doors or whatever the case is. I think the campaign would also include that I have one here, but where is it, right? A campaign even for when you walk into a building and stuff like this, arrowed signs, a defibrillator here for somebody that's never been in council chambers or somebody that's been in different facilities, right? That's an excellent idea. I would say a lot of them also have like flat V-shaped signs or triangular signs above them, so you can see them walking down the hall in a distance. But yeah, anything that would make it more aware, because I believe the Gretzky Center has like 6 or 8 of them in one facility, and they're all the way around all the different rinks and everything else, and they've used it quite frequently in that facility. But yes, doing a more public campaign of where they are. There's also software and programs out there that you can show on a digital map of where they are within the county, and that would also be just making more of a public awareness at the same time.
With the app that shows where they are in the county, can you drill down to where it is within the facility?
Different apps do different things.
Okay.
Like, for an example, the Toronto Airport has 250 of them that I'm aware of. And they can't use the address of, say, 10 King Street, right? They have the longitude and latitude built in, but in a building like this, most people would just use the physical address.
Yeah.
And then it's inside the building. So more of an exterior campaign, hey, this place has a defibrillator. The concern people have is the front doors are locked. So somebody has a cardiac arrest downtown here, and this says, I have a defibrillator inside, and we're locked at 9 PM at night. So it's kind of a two-way PR campaign that has to be built, of the ones accessible 24/7, and the other ones that are accessible inside of building. I know a lot of regions are now putting them on the exterior of buildings with outdoor cabinets that are heated and protected from UVA and UVB ratings, and they just put them downtown. There's one right there, either attached to a wall or on a physical sign.
Okay, thank you.
I just thought, I'm going to follow up, but you said there are apps?
Correct.
Okay. I'll have to look into that. I didn't know about that, so I thought it was a good question, good suggestion. Any other questions to the chief on his report? Okay, seeing none, I'll just say, thank you, chief, for that report. It's good to see the numbers trending downwards, especially the offload times. In Councillor Pierce did ask my question, because we're seeing that new dispatch system roll out, so it will be interesting to see what effect or impact that might have. But in your opinion, though, you feel that it will make a difference, so?
I believe it'll make a huge difference.
Okay, yeah, very exciting. Okay, if I don't see any further questions, we did have a mover and a seconder, so I'll ask for a show of hands. How many in favor? Okay, let's pass. That brings us to the last report of the day, and that's 7.3. And this is the construction status update. Now, did we have an addendum on that one?
Not necessarily. Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, not necessarily an addendum. I've just reprinted the whole report because there was, the first figure, I guess, was just missing in the printed and online version for some reason.
Okay. And I don't know, did the online version get corrected then?
We're working on it right now, just technical difficulties.
All right, because Councillor Hunt's not here to get an updated sheet, so. Okay, so let's get a mover for this one to receive this for information. Councillor Pierce, Councillor Martin. Okay, any questions for Cindy on this? Go ahead, Councillor Pierce.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I got a few questions today. So on page 5 of the report, when it talks, the architect recently flagged the existing foyer washrooms require significant repair. Why just recently? Why? Why wasn't this before?
Through the chair to committee. So I actually had an opportunity yesterday to view the washrooms. And through discussion with Chief King, we both feel that significant renovations are not required. I think this was probably the architect saw the whole build coming together and felt that the existing washrooms were, had more of a feel from 20 years ago, I guess, in comparison to today. But going through them, what we've recommended is that they just get a fresh coat of paint, as well as possibly new toilets, because they are 20 years old. Outside of that, the countertops, the sinks and everything are fine. They're in good shape. So we had originally received a quote just late last week for $50,000 to do a full renovation, and we've advised that that's not needed.
Okay, well, that's good news, because that was kind of like, ooh. And then the next paragraph there, again, construction manager recently discovered water damage along the existing building envelope. So that may, it may take some remediation and abatement and that sort of stuff, but that bill is not going to come to us, right? If that's on the existing building, that will be the owner, correct?
Through the chair to committee, Yes, so the cost related to remediation for that will be considered separate from this project.
Okay, so that's good to know. So it's just more or less a potential time factor, not a dollar factor.
That's correct. And again, I was there yesterday, and the construction manager has advised that that will all get repaired within the next week or two. So it's not going to impact the paramedics' move into the building.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Pierce. Councilor Martin?
Yeah, thank you. Just on that water issue, have they determined whether there's any mold or not?
Through the chair to committee, there is some. You can actually see it a bit just along the floor, but they don't anticipate it'll go any higher than 1 meter. So they won't really know until they start to remove pieces of the wall, but based on their experience, they don't think it's going to be extensive.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for General Manager Stevenson at this time on her report? Okay, seeing none, we have a mover and a seconder. Cindy, thank you for that report. All in favor? Okay, that's moved. Okay, so that brings us, hold on a second. That brings us to communications, and we didn't have any. In other business, nobody had anything, but I will just say, I got an email there a couple weeks ago that a little bit saddening, I guess, and that's announcing that our chief will be retiring after a long career. Now, we have you till November, correct? So, but it made me think, and over this term of council, I've been on the ambulance paramedic committee before, and we talked about a lot of the things we're talking about today. The offload nurses, is the funding coming from the province? We're talking about that 10 years ago with Charles Longeway, but just in this last term of council, there's been so many, I thought, large issues that have come forward. And just as an example, we're transitioning to a new call system. We've had a real problem with offload delays leading to a lot of code zeros. We've had emergency room redevelopment. We've had another set of contract negotiations. We've got a new headquarters being built and a new garage. We've obviously had unexpected budget hits, and I know you have help, but you are at the top of this thing, and you've kind of, you're a good captain. You've sailed us through it smoothly, so I just, we'll have other times to thank you for your service, but I wanted to mention that here because I think everybody here understands a lot of the I would say big issues that you've kind of helped us successfully navigate. And I just want to say I appreciate all the work you've done.
Thank you very much.
You fill me with confidence and let me sleep better at night.
We'll try to put you in good hands when I leave.
Okay.
I'm only a phone call away.
Yeah.
Only for him, Kevin.
Okay.
And Cindy. Anyways, can I add a few things?
Yeah.
Just to add to what you said. First of all, thank you very much. But I just want to add a few other things from my report, basically of other work that we've done. This past weekend, we were honored to be a participant in the special events over the weekend. We'd like to thank the County of Brant for being a sponsor and the city allowing us to participate in the event. We'd also like to offer special thanks to the superintendents and crews for managing the extra workload and demands that the Special Olympics had placed on the service and those involved. Organizationally, we had many issues. The increased number of patients, the heat warnings just added to the demands and the workload. However, our team made sure that all things were smooth, acted with the utmost professionalism, and caring for everybody that attended the games. Our vehicle staffing report, you've asked in the past, Councillor Pierce. We will have a complete report available for September where we're going to be healthy back to our vehicles and not our large losing a transmission or a motor at any given time, but that one will be back in September. I'd like to tell you about a thing that happened to us at the end of June. This is a difficult one for me, but anyways, sitting at a restaurant with my wife on June 27th, and my daughter called and said, one of their medics at another service, his friend's dying. His last wish was to get him to the Blue Jays game. But then she told me that the service couldn't help this guy, and he had about 2 weeks to live. So that night I gave a phone call to Cindy and said, can we help out? Within a few hours, our team put together, a team that went and got the guy in London, took him to the Blue Jays game, had him on the field with the Blue Jays and the players, up in a private box, and took him home. So this was from our team at the WISH program. It's just, for us to be able to do this in a short period of time, just was amazing that our team was able to put it together and then bring him back to hospice that same night. So with city's permission, we were able to make this wish happen within less than 4 days. We got a phone call on June 27th, and by July 2nd, he was at the game and on his way back. So it says a lot for our CP team, our WISH team, the county for allowing this to happen, but it made a big difference to him. So I just want to say, we participated in this, and it was great for everybody.
Well, thank you, Russ. That's really something. I gotta ask, did the Jays win?
It was a hitting fest, and he got to see a winning game. I think the score was something like 10-8 or something that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We've got pictures, we're gonna send out a PR stuff, but our crew was down on the field with the Jays. He was seeing all the Jays there. The family got a private box. They basically fed him. We had 2 nurses and a doctor in the back, everything else, right? But to step up at the last minute, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, very impressed, yeah. You can't, that experience is priceless, so much appreciated. Yes, and thank you too for the special work that you've done for the Special Olympics. Mayor Bailey, did you want to share anything about? Yeah.
It was an amazing event, that's for sure. I don't think I've ever seen any 3 organizations, meaning the city, the county, and 6 nations, come together as easily and as willingly as they did. You wouldn't know who was really hosting what. It was just all one big body of policemen and police services. And no, I was very proud. I was very proud to be there. I know it drew chiefs from the past. Ava Hill was there, and I think Mark came in for a minute. And just the excitement, and I guess the difference is so many of the participants for the Special Olympics are local, and we know them. You know, when the kids are special like that, we do notice them, and they do stand out, and they do come to us and tell us that what they're doing, and whether they're playing baseball or shot put or whatever they were doing. So I think there's a real, we own a lot of that. We own the participants because we see them every day, and we've encouraged them to have jobs and be out in the community and away from their home and away from the basement. So we've asked them to come and be part of the community. So then when we see how excited they are because they're giving back to us, it's a very special thing. And I think we all sort of bought into it beautifully. I know the kids couldn't have been participants. They're not kids. Some of them aren't kids anymore. I've been around long enough to remember when they were kids, but the participants are very proud, and they were very proud. And you could tell that they were proud that they were making their communities proud. So good for us. Good for us to come together like that. Good for police services to be able to work like that. It's not like that everywhere, you know. A region like the county and the city and 6 nations. I mean, there's other parts of Ontario that you can't take 3 neighbors and put them together at any cost and get cooperation. So we're very lucky with our policing that they know each other, they like each other, and they support each other. So I think we got the benefit of all of that. So and then obviously the games win because it was certainly well attended. You couldn't have got anybody else in the place. You know, the lineups were huge, just waiting to get into the arena. So you can't say that it wasn't a huge success.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and a lot of departments had to work cooperatively together, not just the county, obviously the city. I thought we worked well together, and like you said, it took a lot of effort, and no small effort was attributed to our paramedic services. So Russ, thank you to your team to help make that. And I know it was stupid hot that weekend. So on that note, we don't have to go in camera. The next meeting, I think we usually go every 2 months, so probably September, but it'll be sent out anyway. So on that note, I'll call this meeting adjourned.